Hi, my name is Laurie, and I struggle with bipolar disorder type 2 and borderline personality disorder. Today, I want to talk about forgiveness. And I think forgiveness is a really big subject for everyone, but especially for people who suffer with borderline personality disorder. And this is something that I really struggled with, and I actually learned how to forgive from an alcoholic, someone who was in the 12-step program and had been addicted to alcohol and drugs. That's how I learned. Now, I was watching things on TV as far as like preachers, anything to do with forgiveness, I was watching. So I would listen to preachers talk about forgiveness. I would read books on forgiveness. I would ask about forgiveness. And these are kind of the standard answers that I would usually be given. Forgiveness is a choice. It's something that you have to choose to do. Well, I had chosen to do that, at least with every bit of power or might that I had chosen to do that. And then people would say, well, you know, forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person that hurt you. It's for you. It's to help you heal. Okay, well, that's great, but how do I forgive? And so then it would be like, well, God has said that you need to forgive so that he might forgive you. So you have to forgive others because that's what it asks you to do in the Bible. Okay, well, that's great. I'm sitting here and I'm willing to forgive and I'm asking you, how do I forgive? Well, then one day I went to lunch with some people. I was going to Overeaters Anonymous at the time. And I went to lunch with some people, and apparently when people are addicted to drugs and alcohol, it also, sometimes they'll switch it for a new addiction. And so we'd have several people come over then to Overeaters Anonymous. Well, several of us went to lunch one day, and one of the ladies was talking to someone else about forgiveness. And she said, well, you have to pray for your enemy every day for 30 days. And I remembered that I had read in the Bible, pray for your enemies. Well, I had done that. My ex-husband, I had said, well, pray for, well, I might as well say his name because at some point I'm going to say it anyway. But I would say, God, please bless Frank because you asked me to pray for him. Like, please bless Frank. Well, she said, that's not good enough. That's not what I'm talking about. She said, I'm talking about you have to pray for him like he's someone you love. You have to pray for him like he's a family member, like he's your best friend, like you love him and you care about him and you care about what happens to him. You have to give him that kind of prayer. And I just remember my heart just sinking into the pit of my stomach. And I thought, this man took everything from me and completely destroyed my life. Are you kidding me right now? But I knew that I had to forgive him or I was never going to move on. I had carried around this craziness inside of me for years. So I went home that night. I went on the back porch and I started to pray for him like I prayed for my brother. As a matter of fact, I think I prayed the same prayer that I did usually pray for my brother. And so I started praying and I was crying so hard and I was sobbing and I was hyperventilating. I couldn't catch my breath. I was so upset. And then I got to the end, the part where you say amen. And I thought, oh my gosh, once you say amen, it's done. It's like you've sent it. It's like you've hit send. It's too late. Like it's over. It's up there. And so I was like, oh no, and I didn't think I was ever going to make it through. I have to tell you that in my life, that was probably one of the most painful things that I had ever done was pray for my enemy for real. And so I finally said amen. I was hysterical for a long time afterwards. And this is what I knew. If I didn't say the prayer the next day, I would never say it again. I knew that I was not strong enough to ever go through that again. I knew that I had to keep it up because it was the only thing that I had not tried. So the next night I said the prayer, and I wished I could say it was easier, but when I say it was just as hard, it might have been like 0.0000001% better. Like it was barely better. And so I did it again. And I did it every night, and I went past the 30 days. I had a lot of unforgiveness. I had to go a little bit further. But I will tell you that as time went on, yes, it did get easier to pray for him. And listen, I even prayed for his marriage, and he had left me for her. Excuse me. He had left me for this woman, and I actually prayed for their marriage, that they would be kind and faithful to each other. Are you kidding me? Like that, this right here, this is somebody who was really and truly putting forth some effort, okay? And so I noticed one day, all of a sudden, I thought, I didn't think about Frank today. I didn't think about him. I didn't get angry. I didn't think about what he had done to me or how he had hurt me. Like, I just felt this sense of relief. And as time went on, I realized it's been several days since I've even thought about him. I haven't said his name. I haven't gotten angry. I haven't thought about what I want to do to him to get even with him for how he destroyed my life. Like, oh my gosh, it was so freeing. I can't even begin to tell you how freeing it was. And this is one of those things where your mental health and your spiritual life affect each other. Because I still had bipolar disorder, and I still had borderline personality disorder. I still had to struggle. But the anger and the hatred and the bitterness and the need for revenge, all of that had been set free. I was free from that. All of a sudden, I had compassion for my enemy. All of a sudden, I cared about whether or not something bad happened to him. It was such a sense of relief. I mean, it absolutely helped me in my mental health journey to get that off of me. So anyway, that's my story of forgiveness. It worked for me, and I can tell you for sure that as soon as somebody hurts me, as soon as somebody betrays me or makes me mad, I immediately start praying, because I don't ever want to feel those toxic feelings again as long as I live. So the moment somebody hurts me, I start praying for them. So that's my story of forgiveness. I hope it helps. Thank you.